I just remembered that he fixed this one for me, so I can.
Okay.
Same thing. Will I be presenting 45 minutes?
Yes.
And then what will happen?
Questions.
Ask- You will be MC, like you will take the questions, or you want me to take the questions? You take your.
Okay. Okay. Assalamualaikum. Hello. Assalamualaikum. This room is going to be for the next section, which is Grow Your Wealth, a crash course in halal investing. Just to give everybody a heads up, inshallah. We'll start soon. Okay. All right. We're gonna get started soon, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسهم وسيئات sorry أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي وقل ربي زدني علما وارزقني فهما. Thank you all for coming today. My name is Hanifa Othmal. I'll be your moderator today for this next session called Grow Your Wealth, a crash course in halal investing. From ETFs to NFTs, there's a lot of lingo around investing that often deters people from starting. However, having passive forms of income is key to securing your own financial future and building generational wealth with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's permission. This session will teach us how to invest in an Islamic manner, taking into account the rules of what is and what is not permitted. Our speaker today is Dr. Main Al-Qudah. He is a professor of Islamic finance. He is a nationally known lecturer on contract auditing and Sharia compliant contracts. As president of Guidance College, Dr. Main leads and guides Guidance College to its continued growth. In addition to Islamic finance, he has taught a myriad of classes in Islamic studies from elementary school to postgraduate level. Serving the Muslim community as a scholar, Islamic centers throughout the United States and abroad have benefited from Dr. Main's tutelage. He has spoken to a large audience about Islamic finance, interest-bearing transactions in the United States, Zakat rules for American Muslims, the recent financial crisis, and contemporary issues regarding the Muslim family at several regional and national conferences and at masajid and Islamic centers within the U.S. He holds a PhD in Islamic Studies from American Open University in Virginia, an MA in Islamic Economics from Al Yarmouk University in Jordan, and a BA in Economics from Al Azhar University in Egypt. And now, before I turn it over to him to speak, I'd just like to remind everyone that questions will be allowed and will be taken at the end of the lecture, inshallah.
Can you give me a hint whenever the time is about?
Sure, yeah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Done with your lunch, everybody? How about the dessert and the tea and the chai? Good to go? Okay. Do you have money to invest here? Raise your hand if the answer is yes. Do you have money to invest? Do you want to invest in a halal way? Raise your hand. ما شاء الله. Okay. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Hanifa told me that I have 45 minutes to discuss this issue of halal investment. It's a crash course on halal investment. And I'm telling you from the beginning that it is impossible to cover this topic in 45 minutes. And that's why I just will go as fast and as brief as possible when it comes to halal investment in this society. To keep it simple, there are two different ways here. You either invest by yourself or you invest through others. Okay. The hardest choice is to invest by yourself and to put your money in a project, halal project, and you run your own business by yourself. And as I always say, real estate is the real investment. Real estate is the real investment. Real estate in this society actually has its own intrinsic value. Rarely it happens, every now and then, that the property or the building or the real estate does lose some value. Most of the cases, it increases and does not decrease. So if you do have the courage, if you do have the business mentality, if you have enough time and you have enough money, I would highly recommend that you just go ahead and you start your business by yourself. Okay. You can go with flipping homes. You buy a property that needs a lot of maintenance and maybe like remodeling and fixing. You buy it, you fix it, and then you sell. You will be making a lot of profit, and that's absolutely halal. You can do rental properties. You purchase a condominium or an apartment or a house for rent, other than the one that you live in, and you just rent it and you make money. You rent it, you lease it for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. You'll make in some money. Definitely, you will be responsible for the maintenance, for the tax, for the insurance. And then whenever you want, you can just sell that property again. And because of the appreciation, you will be making some money. The vast majority of us here do not prefer to go direct investment. They do not. You have your own like full-time job, you have family responsibilities, you have some da'wah activities. So you are not in the mood, you are not available enough to make investment in a direct way. That's completely understood. You can switch to something called REIT, REIT. Have you heard about REIT before? REIT investment. REIT actually stands for Real Estate Investment Trust. Real Estate Investment Trust. This is actually a kind of industry or business in the United States where you pitch in some money with a company that's highly specialized in real estate business. They just focus the most on real estate. Problem here is that if you do not have some background about this industry, you might do it the wrong way. There's something called equity REIT, and there's something else called mortgage REIT. Here you go. So we have mortgage REIT and we have equity REIT. Mortgage REIT that if you contribute, if you open an account, you put whatever saving that you have, that company will be using your money in lending or for lending purposes. So they're gonna lend that money for interest, right? And that's exactly what you are trying to stay away from. So just to make sure from the beginning that if that REIT company is purely exclusively mortgage REIT company, stay away from it. Some companies do both. They do mortgage as well as equity REIT. You need to stay away from it because maybe 50, 40, 30, Allahu Alam, how much is the percentage that they designate to lend money for interest. So they act as a traditional mortgage company, as simple as that. You stay away from it. If the company is just purely exclusively equity REIT, well, that's exactly what you are looking for. Equity REIT means that they take your money, they put it in a pool of money, right? and they purchase property for rental purposes, right? They just purchase rental properties and they take care of the maintenance and the tax and the insurance or whatever. And toward the end of the year, you will be getting your share of profit, and that's exactly what you are looking for. So this is actually one opportunity that is very available in the United States. Just do some research. To make a disclaimer, actually, I'm not a practitioner. I'm just an academic. Like, I take care of the Islamic finance, the theory and the fiqh rules, the haram and halal, but not the practice. So to start with, REIT actually is a good business, profitable business, and most the halal one, as long as you are 100% sure that that REIT company, REIT, REIT company, goes exclusively equity REIT, and there is no mortgage REIT involved in it. So far, so good. There is another trend nowadays that's working perfectly fine, which is what is called the syndication. Sometimes they call it syndication, sometimes they call it crowdfunding opportunities. Difference between the two, well, both of them means that a company, a manager who does have like a very good experience in a certain industry, certain business. It could be retail, it could be real estate, it could be car dealership, it could be accessories, it could be whatever the business might be. So when they do syndication, it means that they stay away from the banking system. They do not go to the banks to borrow money with interest. They do not go to mortgage companies to borrow money with interest. And that's exactly what you and I, practicing religious Muslims, are looking for. You want to stay away from the banking system. How does it work? There are several like financial vehicles those companies, those investment companies use. The most, I would say, famous and safest maybe financial vehicle is the LLC, Limited Liability Corporation. So they do establish LLC per project. I'll give you my personal experience. One of the companies that I'm working for as a Sharia consultant, they do projects between 30 to 35 to 40 million dollars per project. They have a big network of attorneys, business people, doctors, IT professionals, engineers, you name it, from within the Indo-Pak community. They have like a big network. And it's just a matter of a group text message. Oh, we have a good project. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who is in and who's out? And they collect within just a few days $50,000 from each individual from that group, 100 more or less. They collect that money, put it together in LLC, Limited Liability Corporation. Why LLC? Just to make sure that there is a liability separation, like the mother organization is not affected by any maybe potential lawsuit that someone might go after the company. They create an LLC exclusively for every single project. And they're highly specialized again in real estate business, because real estate is the real investment. Can you say it out loud? Real estate is the real investment. Thank you. So they collect that money and they purchase a piece of land. They do the zoning and the platting and all whatever it takes, like to enhance or to increase the value of the land. They purchase it for, like, let's say $35 million. Within a year and a half, they sell it for $37 million. They have done this several times. And they just go back to the investors, right? To the members of that club or that group. They give them their share of profit, and they keep a certain percentage for themselves as fees. And they incentivize themselves, like if the profit goes like above certain percentage, we deserve such and such. Everything has to be broken down, has to be declared clearly in the bylaws of the LLC. My question to you: what does it take for the Indonesian, Malaysian Muslim community to do the same? What does it take? Profitability wise, it's way better than going to the banks and just opening a haram saving account or CD. That's something purely haram. So profitability wise, it's way more profitable. Okay, permissibility wise, it is the halal way of doing business. right? Affordability wise, it doesn't have to be syndication, because usually, like in the market nowadays, when they say syndication, they refer to big amounts of money. Like each contribution should be at least maybe $100,000 per share, right? But crowdfunding, no, it could be as as minimum as maybe $100, right? Concept actually is the same. You have a network, you tap in the resources of your community, right? You collect that money for a certain purpose. You establish an LLC, right, for a certain project. You share the information with your members, with your contributors, your community members, right? And you make sure that whatever you do is a Sharia compliant when you consult with someone who is specialized enough to make sure that the structure of the business is a halal one. So the principal is not guaranteed and the profit is not guaranteed. And you just go ahead. You purchase a piece of land, you purchase a building, you do the remodeling, the maintenance. You either rent it and you make money, or otherwise you just sell it and make money. At the end of the day, it is permissible and it is profitable, which is the most important thing that we look for. The worst option that you can go with nowadays is the stock market. It is actually the worst one. The stock market in the United States is still unstable, still shaky after the pandemic back in March 2020. Until today, actually, we are not making money in the stock market. Maybe some of you do have their own experience, right? And instead of making money, and instead of breaking even, well, they lost money. And I'm one of those people actually who did invest certain amount of money. I lost 40%, 40% of my investment. So stock market is not a good option. If you insist in investing in a stock market, that's absolutely up to you. But again, it is not the best option. Permissibility wise, it's not the best option. Feasibility, profitability wise, it is not the best option. Okay. The only good about it is that you just have a peace of mind. You do nothing other than just opening an account, and someone behind the scene, like in the back office, is running the business in your behalf, speculating, buying and selling and making a profit and just reporting to you on monthly basis. Speaking about the stock market, the vast majority of the investment that we are involved in is strongly connected with the market. So there is no way to ignore the issue, right? Stock market actually is there. Your 401k actually is invested in the stock market. Your 403b is in the market. Your pension plan, stock market. 529, stock market. Simple investment account, brokerage account, mutual fund, ETF, you name it. Every single kind of investment that is like related to your business, or you do it by yourself, it is some way, somehow connected with the stock market. So we have no choice but to study more and dig in depth on how to navigate through the system and make sure that our investment is as halal as possible. If someone is looking for pure 100%, listen to this. If someone is looking for pure halal 100% stocks in the market, you are wasting your time. There is no such a stock that's 100% halal. Every single financial instrument that is walking on the surface of the earth nowadays does have a certain percentage of haram. So we need to be realistic way more than to be idealistic. With this in mind, let me go to the presentation, investing in the 401k. Akhi, can you please turn it on for me? Okay. Most probably when you work for a company, corporate America, your employer will be giving you one of those 5 options. One of them is called stable value fund. Stable value fund means just a saving account, CD, like a certified deposit. You open a saving account. Your principal is guaranteed, right? And your return on top of the principal is guaranteed. In the Islamic finance system, if you get involved in a business, in a trade, okay, entrepreneurship, not in a job. When you go to a job, I mean, your salary is guaranteed. You work Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. Because of the employment contract, you will be receiving a check of $7,000 or $8,000 every month. I'm not talking about employment, I'm talking about business investing. The Islamic finance system, if someone is pitching in money, okay, and by the contract, by the agreement with other parties, other partners, if the principal is guaranteed, the principal is guaranteed, and the return on top of it is guaranteed as well, that's the haram business that you want to stay away from. Even if they trade in buying and selling like fruit and vegetables and real estate, it doesn't make a difference. You cannot guarantee your principal, you cannot guarantee your return on top of the principal. That's the nature of business in Islam. So any kind of business, even if it is claimed or introduced to you as a Sharia compliant, it is not a Sharia compliant, period. So if it is your call, if it is your choice to make a decision, stay away from what is called stable value fund. And that's why in the presentation I'm saying not an option to go with the stable value fund. Okay. Balanced fund is almost 50-50. Like the portfolio you invest in is just breaking down to two different parts. 50% stocks and 50% otherwise. Under otherwise, you list bonds, derivatives like CDS and CDO and whatever, options like stock option, futures, and so on and so forth. The vast majority of those financial instruments are not halal. Vast majority of them are not halal. Okay, even if there is a slight possibility of being halal, this is not the type of investment that you, as a religious practicing Muslim, you want to get involved in. You need to stay away from those very suspicious, investing activities. You hold a derivative like mushtaqat maliyah. Derivative actually is a piece of paper, is a financial instrument that does not represent any value. It is not backed up by any commodity, any merchandise, any goods, not even a service. It's just like a piece of paper that you pay for it, and it is connected some way, somehow with an index or another portfolio. If that portfolio makes a profit, you will be losing money. If they lose money, you'll be making profit. It makes no sense whatsoever for a practicing Muslim to get involved in those options and those futures and those derivatives. So this option, actually, number two, is not an option, balanced fund, because you have 50% stocks and you have 50% otherwise. That otherwise is not a halal. And it is actually a big portion. We're talking about 50% of the portfolio. You should stay away from it. Now, from now on, those are the halal options that you want to consider. And as you see, whether you go with the local stock fund, or you go with the international, or you go with the employer stock fund, it doesn't make any difference from haram and halal perspective. Why? Because at the end of the day, you are investing in stocks only. And this is actually what you need to focus on. You have no option but to go with the stocks. When you hold the stock, actually, it means that this is an undefined small percentage of ownership. When you hold the stock like belongs to Walmart, for example, or to Chase or CVS or whatever the company, Apple, Microsoft, it means that you are one of the owners of that company. If the core business of that company is the halal one, that's the very first check box. Okay, but it does not mean that if the stock belongs to a halal company, that stock is a halal by default. Okay, well, you need to dig in depth more and more and find out like more details about this stock to make sure that it is a Sharia compliant one. So you pick and choose. You want to go with the local stock fund, limit yourself to the stock market in the United States. It's up to you. You want to go international stock fund, that is my preference. Do not limit yourself to the United States because of the instability the economy of the United States actually is experiencing nowadays. You want to limit yourself to the employer stock fund, that would be fine. At the end of the day, you are investing in anything. I mean, not in anything, but in stocks. Okay, let's deep dive, as they say, and just make sure that those stocks are halal ones. This is the criteria that I want you to take a look at. No guaranteed profit. I said several times today, in any kind of investment. How much time was it? 10 minutes, 15 minutes? How much time? 20 minutes? Should be good? Fine. So here is the criteria that you need to focus on. No guaranteed profit, even if that stock or that investment is introduced to you as a Sharia compliant one. Once the profit is guaranteed, or at least the principal is guaranteed, that's not a Sharia compliant one, period. Now, there is something problematic here, which is what is called the preferred stocks. You need to verify what kind of preferred stocks actually you are holding. If the preferred stock means that your principal is not guaranteed, is not, and your profit or dividend is not guaranteed, only and only when there is a profit or dividend, you will be having priority over others. If that is the definition of preferred stocks, that would be fine. But if it means by any chance that if you hold a preferred stock means that your principal is guaranteed, right? Or your profit is guaranteed, or both of them, then this is not a Sharia compliance one. Okay. No unlawful dealings. It goes without saying, right? That the core business of the company has to be a halal one. Someone is holding a business, holding a stock, belongs to a business of, let's say, adult entertainment or gambling or like nightclubs, excuse me, all, or maybe tobacco or alcohol or anything that is purely haram, well known to be haram. Even if what you hold actually is a stock, doesn't make a difference. That investment is not halal. Okay, you hold the stock belongs to Capital One, to Bank of America or Bad of America as they call it, or Chase. Well, it doesn't make it halal. Yes, it is a stock. I completely understand, but the core business of that company actually is not a halal one. Moving on, no haram investment like CDs and saving accounts. Here is the issue. Most of the like corporate America here, they do invest the extra money that they have in CDs. So maybe 70, 80, 90%, Allahu Alam, from the profit that they make is coming from the core business, oil and gas, mining, IT, computers, I mean, you name it. And maybe 10, 20, or 30% is coming from a side business. There's something else going like simultaneously that brings them some money. How much money they make from the CDs, how much interest, riba, haram money they are making, we do not know. So we need to verify and just make sure that the generated riba, okay, or the interest income that is coming to that company is to the minimum. As I said, most of those companies do not have just a pure straightforward business. They do have some other like aside business or aside ways to generate fund. So no haram investment, no haram assets. That's the product line. Would you please go to atina.co? Okay, here is one of the investment companies owned by a group of Malaysian and Indonesian brothers. It's called atina.co, and I'm the Sharia consultant of this company. This company actually is not going with the IOFI standards. No, they even go like more conservative than the IOFI. Would you please go to the search bar and just type Apple, if you don't mind, APPLE. Okay, if you go there, they offer you like a free service. If you want to check, the permissibility of a certain stock, you just enter the code of the stock and it will give you like a very short report. What do you see here? Okay, if it matches their criteria, they call it Atina compliant. Like for political reasons, they don't call it Sharia compliant. They call it just Atina compliant or non-Atina compliant. Now, look at the the parameters that they check. They check they call it the debt asset ratio, right? And the percentage of the interest bearing investment and the actual interest generated. And they added like one more category, which is the product line, This actually makes this company, this investment company, I would say, more conservative, like way above the mainstream practice in the Islamic finance. Okay, if they say that this stock is a Sharia compliant or Atina compliant, okay, just rest assured that it is halal. If they disqualify, if they did listen to this, if they disqualify a stock or a certain share, right, and it passes everything except for the product line. If you ask me as a Sharia consultant, I would say you can just overlook the line product, the product line, and you can invest in that, in that stock. Why they insist in just, excluding it? Because they want to be like, strictly almost 100% Sharia compliant. Well, if you overlook the product line, if everything is okay, pass, right? Except for the product line, my recommendation, I mean, if you want, you can just go ahead and invest in that stock. Take, for example, Apple. Did it pass here? Can you see it? Apple? Okay, everything actually passed except for the product line. Is that correct? This is because actually Apple does have a credit card company. It has a Apple TV channel, right? So they are not that confident that that product line is a Sharia compliant one. They just want to be in the safe side. For this particular company, they share with me the database of maybe 10,000, 12,000 different financial instruments available in the United States, right? And because of the formula that they use, like to filterize and to exclude the haram, they go down from 12,000 all the way to 1,000. So 11,000 are haram, non-Sharia compliant, and only 1,000, sometimes 11 or 1,200. I mean, to that extent, to that extreme, to make sure that the investment is a Sharia compliant one. There is another company called Zeki Financial.com, if you don't mind. I'm the Sharia consultant of this company as well. This company actually goes with the mainstream practice in the Islamic finance industry. I mean, this company is the mainstream. Atina is, I would say, like more conservative than the mainstream. Zeki Financial does IRA. If you are not happy, for example, with the portfolio that you have in your 401k, well, you can just roll over to Zeki Financial, and they're gonna make it IRA. At the end of the day, you'll be making money, right? Whether it is 401k or pension or 403, I mean, who cares? You just want to make sure that you do have a side investment, retirement account, and actually it is a halal one. So Zeki Financial actually might be a good a good option for you. طيب, let's go back to the slides if you don't mind, أخي. To the slides. Jazakallah. Okay, so no haram assets, product line, no high debt asset ratio, interest bearing loans. طيب, something else that I want to bring to your attention before I open the floor for question and answer is just a brand new idea, which is the gold investment or investing in gold. Would you please, Akhi, go to FiWallet.com. Okay, here is the issue. Gold is the real money. So we said before, investment, right? Now another statement here. Gold is the real money. What does that mean? The fiat money that we all use, right, does not have any intrinsic value. It's just the authorization that the Federal Reserve is giving to this piece of paper to make it $100, right? It is the exact concept, okay, the exact authority or reference that makes this piece of paper, this bill, only $1. I mean, size-wise, right, they are almost the same. What makes this one only $1 and makes this one 100? It is actually the authorization and the approval by the financial authority. When it comes to gold, well, gold actually does have its own intrinsic value, right? So it does not need any kind of authority to have a value. And no one actually can take away that value from the gold, again, because it has intrinsic value. With the severe inflation that we started experiencing from March 2020 because of the COVID-19, right? And the very irresponsible monetary policy that the Federal Reserve was adopting and is still adopting by just injecting billions of trillions of millions of dollars in the market. Now we are paying the price, right? Do you remember the PPP and the stimulus checks and what else? Unemployment benefits. You remember that? just millions of trillions of billions of dollars were just thrown, injected in the market. And what was the outcome result? Severe inflation. United States, I mean, did not experience this kind of inflation since the 1850 maybe, right? We reached all the way to 9.5% inflation. I mean, that's really, really unprecedented. Okay. And who's paying the price of that irresponsible policy? It is you and I, right? Salaries are not increasing in the same level that prices are increasing, and we are losing money. What is the solution? Well, the solution, if you do have some saving, take for example at Guidance College that I'm representing, I do have some reserve, maybe $500,000. Well, believe it or not, I'm losing at least between 5 to 6 to 7 to 9% purchase power of that money. You see, if you want to stop that inflation, then you have to stop everything in your hand and just invest the extra money that you have in gold. If you do have a certain amount of money that you have a plan to sleep on it, like maybe 1 or 2 or 3 years, I'm not talking about short-term investment. No, I'm talking about long-term investment, right? Long-term investment. My recommendation, you just go ahead and open a gold wallet. One of the companies that I do recommend, highly recommend, because I'm the Sharia consultant of that company, is called Fi Wallet. Fi Wallet actually is 100% gold backed up. So you open an account with $100, they purchase actual, real, tangible gold for $100. Not only that, gold actually is deliverable. Like if you want that gold to be delivered to your front door, they're gonna deliver it to your front door, right? What is the benefit of opening an account with them? As I said, you preserve the purchase power of the money. Okay, very simple example. In 1963, okay, a sibling were like twins were born. I wish I have the slide. I do not have it here. Okay, Adam and Sarah, right? Adam and Sarah both, actually, their parents decided to invest $10,000 for each one of them. Now for Adam, they opened just a saving account. From 1963 until 2023, the amount jumped. Okay, the amount jumped from $10,000, simple math, $10,000 to $50,000, or 60, I'm sorry, $60,000 with 3% APR. That's for Adam. Now the parents of Adam and Sarah decided to put the money for Sarah, okay, in a gold wallet. That was all the way back in 1963. From 1963 to the end of 2023, Sarah is now owing $500,000. $60,000 for Adam because he put it in a saving account for 3% APR, haram interest. And Sarah actually opened a gold wallet, okay, with those $10,000. Within 60 years, the amount jumped. Like if she decided to sell the gold that she's having as of today, she will be like putting cash in hand, $500,000. 60,000 as opposed to $500,000. And that's why I said several times, if you do have a long-term investment plan, then gold actually is the right way to invest. This is actually one of the options that I do recommend. I found out recently that Chase do have the same option. Capital One, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. But guess what? When it comes to traditional banks, there is no guarantee that this investment is 100% gold backed up. There is no guarantee. Because with all due respect, they do not care about haram and halal. They always leverage. So you purchase like $100, they might like purchase, gold for $10 or $15, and the rest actually will stay money as is. So this is not the right way of doing it. If you want to invest, then you go with the Sharia compliant with the Muslim-owned company. Hanifa. 2 minutes. Like, can I open the floor for question and answer from now? Like, you wanna run the session or with me to? Should I take care of it? Like, would you please go to Guidance College? With this presentation and the previous one, maybe you have realized that the Muslim community in the United States is in desperate need for highly specialized scholars in Islamic finance. Do you agree with me? The Islamic finance in the United States is very promising and very growing. And it's really unfortunate to say that we all here are not up to the challenge. We are not up to the challenge. In order for us to provide halal alternative and to fight the system and to lobby and to put a pressure on the decision makers and the lawmakers, well, we have to have sufficient number of qualified, self-motivated Islamic finance scholars, practitioners, and academics. And this is actually one of the reasons that Guidance College actually was established back in 2012 to serve this goal and to make sure that the Muslim community is not running out of scholars and out of Islamic finance professionals. We do offer masters in Islamic economics and finance. If you do have any business administration or maybe finance or accounting or economics, you are more than welcome to join Guidance College for masters in Islamic economics and finance. It's purely online. Tuition fees are very nominal. We are working diligently to get our accreditation in the United States with the Middle State in New York. We are not accredited yet. The most important thing, the amount of knowledge and the quality of knowledge that you will be finding at Guidance College, you will never find it somewhere else. I mean, rest assured. You might think that I'm biased because I'm the president of the college, but I know what I'm talking about. The amount of knowledge and experience you will be having whenever you join this program actually is unprecedented. You don't have to be a degree student, by the way. You might just pick and choose certain classes, right? You want to educate yourself more in the takaful, for example, or Islamic insurance, as they call it. Okay, portfolio management from an Islamic perspective, Islamic financial transactions. You can be a non-degree student, just pick and choose whatever courses that you are interested in. Well, more than that, if you want to be an audit, like a listener, you do not want to like commit to do the coursework, just want to attend lectures for education purposes, you are more than welcome to join us. So go to guidancecollege.org and then search for MAEF, Masters MA in Islamic Economics and Finance. Here is brochures for Guidance College, right? It has all the programs that we have. We do have bachelor's degree in Islamic Studies for the new reverse to Islam and for the new generation who were born and raised here. We have masters in Islamic Economics and Finance, and we do have another master's in Islamic Education to enhance the quality of Islamic knowledge that we offer, for our kids in different Islamic schools. Here is the brochures. Please make sure that you take a copy. And here is my business card if you want to stay in touch with me regarding anything related to Guidance College. Would you please go to the other slide, which is Islamic Finance one, the blue one? Oh, that's me. Islamic Finance one. Thank you. So here is guidancecollege.org, and here is my business email, drman@guidancecollege.org. And I do actually Sharia consultation service. I've been working in this field for the last 20 years of my stay in the USA. And I reached to a conclusion that helping the Muslim community through education is good. Do not get me wrong, but it is insufficient. I've been working like on the ground for the last 20 years, educating the Muslim community in Islamic finance. I reached to a conclusion that this is insufficient. I need to switch from academia to consultation or to consultancy. Why? Because the Muslim community actually is in need for someone to have hands-on work with them to establish their own companies. And alhamdulillah, for the time being, I'm doing consultation service for different industries. Like I do have some of my clients, they have a car dealership business, syndication. I mean, they are far away from banks. They collect money from investors, they buy cars and they sell the cars for, customers, and they make money. They give the share of the profit to the investors and they keep the rest for themselves. So some of my clients are working in the car dealership, IT, real estate, right? Stock market, and so on and so forth. So I'm here, alhamdulillah, to help and to serve the Muslim community. If you want to consult with me, here is the link or the website that you can reach out to me for consultation. جزاكم الله خيرا for listening. I'm now opening the floor for a question and answer. The floor is yours. You want to pass maybe a mic for him? I'll give him a mic. Okay. You do have a mic?
Check one, two.
Would you please give
Yeah.
him them? He's busy eating, so you need to go there.
Assalamualaikum.
No disturbance, please. Yes.
Assalamualaikum. My question is, I was wondering if you have different recommendation for investment by organizations instead of personal investment, especially like for non-profit organization.
Well, non-profit would you please wait? Non-profit organizations are not for profit. So what kind of investment you are expecting to be run by non-for-profit? I'm just trying to understand.
I'm just, for example, just like where if we have like extra fund, where should we save it? Like that. I mean, not really looking for profit like business opportunities, but like where can we obviously we cannot save it on like saving account. Is there any other places like some halal mutual fund or something like that that we can
Well,
can use?
for halal investment in the stock market, alhamdulillah, in the USA, we have several options. However, you need to do your own due diligence to make sure that that company is really Sharia compliant. Because with all due respect, everybody claims nowadays to be strictly Sharia compliant. And there is no way for us potential investors to verify that claim that they put in their website, right? So I don't want to mention names of companies. I mentioned the names of the companies that I'm in charge of them, like Zeki Financial, like Atina.co. I know for a fact that those people actually are doing a good job when it comes to Sharia compliance. Apparently, you have some money for long-term investment. I would highly recommend Fi Wallet for your like gold investment. Fi Wallet, phiwallet.com. You just open an account, okay, and just leave that money for 1 or 2 years. You will see the increase, in the purchase power, the market value of the gold that you are having. REIT is another option. I think nowadays they do not assure you, but whenever they give a profit, they give you like 2 digits, right? 10%, 12%, which is good enough nowadays. Unlike if you invest in the stock market. Stock market, actually, people are losing, or they barely can just survive and keep their principal, which is not a good idea. If you want to invest and see actual, real, tangible profit, I don't think the stock market nowadays is good enough. No. Yes, sir.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam.
All right. You mentioned that because of inflation, we need to invest. That because of inflation, that we need to invest excess money, right? And you mentioned also gold is real money, right? And in the first part earlier, first lecture, you mentioned also we need to keep 6 to 9 months of emergency fund. So where do you recommend to park that 6 to 9 months living cost? Is it in gold or just cash? Because if we keep cash with the current inflation, we'll be losing our purchasing power. Jazakallah khair.
I agree. Opening a gold wallet is equivalent to saving cash money, because that gold actually is, could be liquidated at no time. When this company in particular, which is Pi Wallet, whenever they finish their registration in the United States, you will be using a debit card for withdrawing actual cash money. If you travel to Singapore or to China or to Malaysia, they do like what they call it, an instant currency exchange. So you can use your debit card in the United States for American dollars. If you go to Jordan, right? It will allow you to use Jordanian dinars. If you go to Saudi Arabia, Saudi riyal, right? So nowadays, investing in gold, to answer the question, is equivalent to the cash saving that I was about. How about that? So instead of like keeping actual cash, you just put that money a gold wallet account with Fi Wallet. It is withdrawable at any time, no issue whatsoever. And what is good about it is that it will like keep its purchase power. That's a very good point. Yes, ma'am.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
So, I have a question about the 401k.
Can you please?
So I have a question about the 401k. So I'm a working person and you were saying like how do I talk to my employer about like the type of investment that my 401k is like put into?
There should be a kind of department, either human resources or the finance department or the retirement, department. I mean, you need to talk to someone in charge.
Mm.
Okay, like who's your financial advisor? How did
So-
you come up? How did you come up with the portfolio that you have now?
So
Who
at
has chosen it for you?
my last job, I work at a private practice dental office. So I believe my boss placed the investment, but we don't have like an HR person. So I don't know how to even talk to anybody.
Can you ask your manager who is the investment company? Who is the investment company? Do you know the investment company? Is it Fidelity?
the bank?
Was that?
Is it the bank that's the investment?
No,
See,
no.
oh.
It should be Fidelity or Vanguard or Schwab, like
So I
any of
gotta
those.
ask them like who's the financial.
Right.
Okay.
And then you pick up the phone and you talk to your financial advisor or wealth manager who is managing and running the 401k of your company, right? And then you
Okay.
find out what kind of portfolio he or she is having for your company. And then you run that portfolio by a specialized Islamic finance. Maybe you run it by Athena.co. They're gonna just break it down for you, unlock the secret of the portfolio until you listen. You have stocks, this and this, percentage. You have bonds, you have derivatives. You need to get rid of this. You need to replace this. I mean, they will give you some recommendation, or by Zaki Financial. And I think it is a paid service, just to make sure. Okay, if you are not happy with the current situation, maybe you can just roll over. Maybe you can just roll over your retirement account to any of those Muslim-owned companies that you investing with them. As I said, all of them claim to be Sharia compliant. Are they Sharia compliant or not? You need to do your own due diligence, right? Because in this country, it's easy to claim, it's hard to prove, right? Just post and they're all the most Sharia compliant company, and you just go and you figure it out. Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum. I have
Alaikum
a
salam.
quick question. What are CDs?
Certificate of deposit. It's a
Thank you.
kind of long-term investment and saving account. CD, certificate of or certified deposit. Yes, sir.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. You mentioned in the first lecture about the zakat for the 401k, so whatever accessible minus tax and penalty and whatnot. What about for kind of like any other investments, whether just straight stock investments or even kind of like properties? If you have kind of like, I understand if you live in your own property, you don't have to pay zakat for that. But what if you have kind of like a second or third property that you use for like rental properties or whatnot? Do you pay zakat for that as well?
So the second property, is it a rental one? Is it a residential one? Is it for sale? What kind of second property you have?
Rental properties. Rental properties.
Rental property, then you pay zakat on the lease revenue. The money that you make, like the rent money, the money that you generate from that rental property is the zakatable one. Whatever is left over the month of Ramadan, you need to pay zakat on it. Whatever is spent already, you spend it on maintenance, on tax, and insurance, and whatever, it's already spent. right? Whatever is still solid, accessible, left over from that money has to be added to the virtual pool of money that you have with other, like, income resources that you have, and you pay zakat on everything based on 2.5% zakat rate.
Until we decide, let's say, to sell the property, then we pay the full
Well,
zakat.
if you sell the property and you liquidate, like you have cash money, if that money stay in your possession for one complete year, then you need to pay zakat on it. But if you sold the property and you put that cash money in a different property, we need to ask the same question. Is the new property residential or rental or for sale? Residential, zakat free. Rental, zakat should be paid on the lease revenue. For sale, you pay zakat on the market value of the property because that house or condominium or apartment is just a commodity. It is for sale. And thus zakatable.
Thank
No.
you so much.
Yes, sir. Are you watching the time?
Assalamualaikum.
152?
Assalamualaikum
Alaikum salam.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I just want to ask about your perspective regarding the life insurance. Is it
No.
permissible? And if you have recommendation, if it's permissible, like, do you have any recommendation, the halal life
No.
insurance?
No. Well, the mainstream fatwa nowadays is still insisting that insurance, if it is a commercial one, not a mutual based one, not a government based one, is still haram because of the ambiguity or the uncertainty. They say, not me, they say that when you purchase an insurance policy, you pay the premium and you do not know whether or not you will be compensated. And if you know that you will be compensated, you do not know how much money you will be getting, right? How much money you will be getting. Well, that is the mainstream fatwa. Okay. For me, as a mufti, I belong to the minority of scholars who believe otherwise. And let me explain. How many kind of government-based insurance we have in the USA? Or what are the most famous, like, insurance, government-based insurance? Social Security. Do you agree? It's a kind of insurance. Medicare and Medicaid. Is that correct? Okay. Now, for the Social Security, will you be receiving, like, Social Security payment for free, or you receive it because you already contributed for a certain period of time and you do have an account and there's a certain premium of money that is taken or deducted from your paycheck and goes to your Social Security account? Same for Medicare, same for Medicaid. Is that correct? So this is actually a bilateral agreement, like two-sided commitment. It's not unilateral. The Social Security Administration, with all due respect, is not doing you a favor. They are not giving you a sadaqah, right? You contributed, you open an account, you committed yourself for 10, 15, 20 years to paying a premium every single month. And based on the agreement that you have, okay, in a certain incident, Allah forbid, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect you and all of us here, something happened, you deserve a certain compensation. Is that correct? So the Social Security is telling you, listen, if you pay me $150 a month and something happened to you, do not worry. I will take care of you. I will pay you a certain amount. If you, Allah forbids, you passed away, do not worry. I will be paying your minors this and this amount until they reach the age of 18, and then this and this amount until they reach the age of, okay. If your husband is the one who has the Social Security and he passed away, Social Security will be paying you all the way until the end of your life. They're gonna keep paying on monthly basis your kids until they reach to a certain age. The bottom line here is that this is a bilateral agreement, two-sided commitment. With no premium paid from your end, there is no compensation. Is that correct? How is this different from the life insurance company who tells you, listen, if you pay me $150 every month and you pass away, do not worry, just rest in peace. I will take care of your family members. And instead of paying them on monthly basis, I will issue like a check of $1 million. It's a bilateral agreement. It's two-sided commitment from your side and from the life insurance side. I stayed as a student of knowledge with the mainstream fatwa all the way until maybe 2016 or 17. And then I went back. I started like, scratching my head after becoming bald, and, started like thinking about insurance. Is it really haram? Why it is haram? Muslim community in the USA here are struggling financially. Like when they lose their bread maker, there is no one standing, like supporting them. There is no social security system within the Muslim community. If I'm back home in Jordan or Saudi Arabia or in Malaysia, my neighbors and my parents and my cousins and my in-laws will be standing and supporting me. Here in the United States, you are by your own, right? Long story short, I went back and did my own research, started reading the research paper of those scholars who said it clear from day one that life insurance is halal. Sheikh Mustafa Zarqa, rahmatullah alayhi, maybe some of you, knows him. Sheikh Mustafa Zarqa is a Syrian Hanafi scholar. Okay, he was a member in different fiqh councils back in the 1960s and 70s. And subhanAllah, he was the very first one to say that life insurance is a pure halal agreement. There is no haram here. And if you go to the declarations of those fiqh councils, they unanimously say it's haram except for Sheikh Mustafa Zarqa. So out of curiosity, I went to his actual book called the Ta'min Nizam wa Hukm Insurance, its definition, its ruling. And I've read that book twice, word by word, sentence by sentence. And I found out that the Sheikh actually is way, way like advanced in his way of thinking than the scholars at his time. And actually his book made a lot of sense, to me. So I officially changed my mind from saying that life insurance is haram to say that life insurance is halal. I do have my own life insurance policy, and I do believe that I have made the right decision. They charge me $157, I think, every month. Upon my death, next day in the morning, they will issue a check of $1 million to my family members. Why should I put my family members in a situation where they just go to the masjid, stretching their hand, waiting for sadaqah and donation, or waiting for the imam to make a fundraising for them? Why should I put them in that position? What makes life insurance haram and social security halal and Medicare and Medicaid halal? They are not. We either prohibit everything or we permit everything. All these different kinds of insurance, whether with stock-based insurance companies or mutual-based insurance companies or government-based insurance companies, all of them are just copy and paste. They are just identical. Okay, bilateral agreements, two-sided commitment, premium from your end, compensation from their end. If you do not pay, you are out. There is no benevolence, there is no cooperation, there is no sadaqah, there is no donation. It's a legally binding contract. So long story short, life insurance actually is halal in general. However, certain options within the life insurance, whether the term or they call it the other one, term and the whole life versus term, whether whole life or term insurance, some of those options actually are not halal. Okay, I'll give you an example. If you pay $150 premium on a monthly basis, you will be getting $1 million insurance benefit. So far, so good. If you decide to increase your payment to $200 a month, you will be getting insurance benefit, $1 million, plus another check. Okay, they're gonna pay back to your family members after your death, after long life. They're gonna pay your family members all the premium that you have paid during your lifetime. So you paid 7,525 cents, and then you passed away. They're gonna write a check of the exact amount and pay it back to your family members. To my knowledge, that option actually is halal. Now, if you decide from now to increase your premium to make it 250, they're gonna pay you the insurance benefit, the cash back or cash advance, plus interest on the actual amount that you paid as a premium during your lifetime. Well, that particular option is not a halal one, while the first two, the first and the second one, halal. So long story short, I don't want to confuse you. Life insurance actually is halal, and I highly recommend every single Muslim lives in this society to have his or her own life insurance. Stay away from the third option. Go with the first or the second option. Make sense? So I'm making what's that? Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
To the sister's question earlier about funds in the 401k.
Would you please speak up or just
Yeah.
fix the mic? I cannot hear you well.
The sister that asked the question about the 401k earlier and the funds that were available in that 401k. I think the employer has a plan they have to file on their benefit in order to qualify as a 401k. And I think the employer is in control of which company, whether it's Vanguard or Fidelity, they pick to run the plan, but they can influence the funds that are in the plan, I believe. I don't think Fidelity or
Vanguard.
could necessarily make that. If the employer picked it, they follow what the employer picks, I think.
Well, the least I can say here again is that the sister actually can track, can navigate, like, you know, can ask and find out who is running her portfolio, right? And we'll go from there. What kind of portfolio I have, what kind of, you know, financial instruments, and we'll go from there. Yeah, that's a good point. Jazakallah khair. Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
I first have one question, but I have two now. Quick one on stocks. How do you reconcile in terms of differences between halal investing and not between different organizations? How did they kind of say this is halal or not? That's the first one.
Stocks.
Yeah.
As I said, akhi, like regular, like, you know, common investors do not have the ability of analyzing the portfolio or just unlocking the secret of that portfolio. So you need to run your portfolio by specialized, like licensed, okay, wealth manager. And you tell him that this is the criteria that I want. I do not want to invest in anything other than stocks. I want to make sure that the stocks actually do have the lowest, what do you call it, debt asset ratio, the lowest interest income, the lowest
I
interest
understand.
bearing investment.
Sorry to cut you off. I understand, but if two organizations compare one stock and they have different opinion, how do you reconcile that?
So you do not have the third side, you mean? Like someone is deciding on your behalf?
Yeah.
Well, if it is not your decision, then the least you can do is just to estimate the haram portion or percentage involved in your portfolio. How about that? If you reach to a conclusion that the best I can do is to have 30% haram, 70% halal, right? Every single year you need to dispose 30% of the growth or the dividend. Okay, not the account, the dividend. Like you made $10,000 in 2023, right? After 2 or 3 days. Okay, you just dispose $3,000 because that 3,000 is coming from the haram investment, and you keep the $7,000 for you halal.
Okay. The other question regarding the insurance. What if they take the premium and invest it in a non-halal way? How
What's
would
that?
you know? Getting the insurance, you talk about insurance, life insurance being halal. What if they take the premium and invest it in non-halal ways? How would you control that?
Well, no one in this country is investing the insurance money in a halal way. Neither the Social Security or the Medicare or Medicaid or like mutual based or like stock based. I mean, everybody is investing in anything that brings money. Okay. And let's say draw a line between the status of the insurance as a contract. Okay. Is it halal or haram? As opposed to the way that the money is invested. This is completely different issue. So you cannot say, okay, the money is invested in a haram way, thus insurance is haram. No, insurance is different. Insurance is the legal contract. Okay, the bilateral agreement, the two-sided commitment, premium for a return, period. Now, how the extra money is invested, that's completely different discussion. Make sense? Lulu. You wanna? Okay.
Assalamualaikum.
I'm saying time, so I'll give you the like very last question. Go ahead. There we go.
Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
My name is Mahasin.
I have some question just about the money. I think every one of us, we love money.
Oh,
So,
of course.
we love money, and everyone that
I love money.
try to make easy, and as much as we could, we find way to make easy money. And
Allah
as
said in
much
the
as we
Quran,
can get,
وَتُحِبُّونَ الْمَالَ حُبًّا جَمًّا, right?
that's right.
Yeah.
As we know that we live in a capitalism country, which is that anything what we do is we deal with money, and sometimes that we try to make it anything that, in a halal way, that with us a Muslim, but we have to base on Quran and Hadith. We have to keep ours with the Sharia. But as we living in this country, that we always has to deal with anything what in the Quran as in this life in this country, that is anything is forbidden in the Quran, like zina, riba, everything is opposite in the.
So what is the
in the
question?
Quran. My question is it any country that in the globe that we can live in Islamic way law, that we can live to avoid those issue or not?
No. No, the answer is no. Just to stay in the USA and just enjoy
Because
your
it's like
stay.
all the countries that we adapting that capitalism, seems like that we are all comfortable with the
There is
capitalism way.
no a Muslim society, like a pure Muslim society, like the lifetime of the Prophet ﷺ. I mean, there is no such a society. طيب, جزاكم الله خير. Please make sure that you get your brochure and you get my business card to stay in touch with me.
I just
بارك
have
الله
a quick
فيكم.
question
صلى الله على
about the life
محمد.
insurance. Do you have a minute?
We'll talk individually. جزاكم الله خير. Thank you. تفضلي يا
Assalamualaikum. I'll try to keep this short since we're running out of time here too, but thank you everyone for coming. And Jazakallah khairan to Dr. Main too for his insight. He has these brochures for a guidance council on his business card. I'll probably put them on these tables at the front for anyone who wants to pick them up. And that should be it. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. You're welcome.